Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're using NotebookLM regularly, your source list can grow very quickly. And before you know it, things start to get messy. In this video, I'll show you how to fully manage your sources in NotebookLM using the Source Management dashboard. You'll learn how to add sources efficiently, merge related content into a single source, delete sources you no longer need, and back everything up so you can reuse it later. This helps you keep your notebooks clean, organized, and much easier to work with, especially as they grow over time. All right, let's jump in. This is a typical NotebookLM notebook. You have your sources on the left, the chat in the middle, and the studio on the right. And if you're working with just a few sources, this setup is totally fine. But once your notebook starts to grow, managing sources quickly becomes painful. You can't easily bulk delete sources. You can't merge related articles into one. There's no backup or restore. And there's no central place to see and manage everything. When you're doing real research, this turns source management into a bottleneck. This is exactly the problem the NotebookLM Tools extension is designed to solve. Instead of managing sources one by one inside NotebookLM, the extension gives you a dedicated dashboard to add, merge, delete, and back up your sources properly. Let me show you how that works. First, let's open the Sources Management dashboard. To do that, open the NotebookLM Tools pop-up. From here, click on Notebooks. This takes you to the Manage Notebooks dashboard, where you can see all of your notebooks in one place. Instead of opening notebooks one by one, you get a clean overview: titles, tags, number of sources, and last updated time. To manage the sources of any notebook, just click the Sources button on the right. This notebook at the top has plenty of sources, which makes it a good example, so I'll just use this one. I'll click into it, and this opens the Sources Management dashboard. From here, you can view, add, merge, delete, and back up your sources all in one place. His is especially helpful when you're working with lots of sources. Now let's explore what's inside the Sources Management dashboard. This is where you actually manage everything. First, you can quickly preview a source. Just click the eye icon, and you can see the full content of that source right away. Now that you've seen how to preview a source, let's move on to managing them. If you want to remove a source, just click the trash icon next to it. The extension will ask for confirmation, click OK, and the source is gone. And when you're working with lots of sources, you don't have to do this one by one. You can select multiple sources using the checkboxes and then perform bulk actions like delete or merge. Once I select more than one source using these checkboxes, a bulk action bar shows up at the top. From here, I get a few options. I can remove sources in bulk or merge them together. Bulk delete works the same way as deleting a single source, so I won't demo that again. Instead, let's focus on the more interesting part: merging sources. To merge sources, simply select the ones you want and click Merge. When I click Merge, a modal opens where I can configure the merged source. Here, I can give it a new title. I'll name it Merged Sources, AI Policy and Industry Reactions. I can also choose whether to keep or delete the original sources after merging. In this case, since these sources are closely related, I'll merge them into a single source and remove the originals. Below that, you'll also see a list of the sources I selected for this merge. This makes it easy to double-check everything before merging. Once I'm happy with the setup, I'll click Fetch Content to preview the merged result. After clicking Fetch Content, I'm taken to the preview step. Here I can clearly see what's going to happen before anything is finalized. The extension shows me exactly how many sources will be merged, the total content length, and whether the original sources will be deleted. This is especially important because once I confirm, those original sources are permanently removed. Below that, I get a content preview. It doesn't show everything, just a truncated version, so I can quickly sanity check the merge. If I notice anything that doesn't look right, I can always click back and return to the previous steps to adjust the sources or settings. Nothing is final until I confirm the merge. When I'm ready, I just click Merge Sources. The extension then combines all selected sources into a single new source. Using the title I set earlier, since I chose to delete the original sources, they're removed automatically after the merge is complete. Once that's done, I'm taken back to the Sources list, where I can see the newly merged source alongside the rest of my notebook. From here, I can open it, review the combined content, and start using it just like any other source in NotebookLM. So that's how Merge Sources works. It's a simple way to clean up your notebook, group related materials together, and keep everything easy to manage as your source list grows. Now that we've covered organizing and merging existing sources, and once everything is nicely organized, the next thing you'll want is a safe way to keep it or move it elsewhere. That's where backup and restore come in. This part is really important because all of this data lives inside the extension. If you remove the extension, switch browsers, or move to another machine, everything can be lost if you don't back it up. Backup and restore is basically your safety net. From the Sources Management dashboard, I click the Backup Restore button, and this immediately opens the Backup and Restore modal. Here, I can choose how I want to export my notebook. JSON is a full backup. It includes the notebook metadata, all source URLs, and the full content. This is what you want if your goal is to restore this notebook later. Zip exports everything as Markdown files. That's better for reusing the content outside NotebookLM. For this demo, I want a proper backup that I can restore later. So I'll stick with JSON. I just click Export Backup, and the extension downloads a JSON file with everything inside. Once that file is saved, my notebook is fully backed up. And with a backup in place, I can safely experiment, delete sources, merge things, or reorganize everything, knowing I can always restore it later. Next, I'll show you how the restore process works. I'll go back to the Notebooks dashboard and open a different notebook. In this case, I'll use Santa Visits the Artemis II rocket. From here, I open the Sources view to access the Sources Management dashboard, then click Backup, restore again, but this time I switch to Import Backup. Here, I just click Choose File, and select the backup file I exported earlier from the Silicon Valley's Great Pivot, Human Costs of the AI Boom notebook. After I choose the backup file, the extension shows me a quick preview of what I'm about to import. I can see which notebook this backup comes from, how many sources are included, and when the backup was created. This is a nice safety check. It helps make sure I'm importing the right file into the right notebook. If everything looks good, I just click Import Backup. Once I confirm, the extension starts importing the data. After a few seconds, all the sources from the original notebook are now added to this notebook. No copy-pasting, no re-adding links. Everything is brought over exactly as it was, including the full content and all the metadata. This makes it incredibly easy to move sources between notebooks or recover your work if something ever goes wrong. One quick note here, importing a zip backup works the same way. Instead of JSON, you just select the zip file, and the extension will restore all the sources from the Markdown files inside. So whether you prefer JSON for complete metadata or zip for more portable Markdown files, both options are fully supported. And now that we know our data is safe and portable, let's move on to how we add new sources into a notebook. From the Sources Management dashboard, I just click Add Sources, and this modal pops up. As you can see, there are actually a lot of different ways to add sources into NotebookLM. Because of that, I've already made a dedicated video and article where I walk through every option in detail, from pasting text, adding links, playlists, and RSS feeds, to importing sources directly from browser tabs. If you want a complete walkthrough of all those options, I cover everything step by step in a Medium article and a YouTube video. I'll leave the links in the description below. But that video and article were created before the zip import feature existed. So in this video, I want to focus specifically on this new option. When I switch over to the Zip tab, you'll see that this works very similarly to the backup, restore import we looked at earlier. All I need to do is click Choose File, then select a zip file that contains markdown.md files. Each Markdown file inside the zip will be imported as a separate source and added directly into the current notebook. Once the file is selected, I just click Import. And that's it. The extension automatically extracts the zip file and imports all the sources inside. So in just a few clicks, you can add multiple sources at once without manually re-adding each file or link. In this video, we explored how to manage sources in NotebookLM more effectively. From viewing and deleting sources, to merging them, backing everything up, restoring data, and adding new sources using zip files. If this workflow saves you time, make sure to give the video a like, it really helps the channel. And if you're using NotebookLM regularly, subscribe for more tips, tools, and real-world workflows like this. If you're using the NotebookLM Tools extension, feel free to leave feedback or feature requests in the comments. Many of the features you've seen in this video actually came directly from user suggestions. All the links, the extension, related articles, and previous videos are in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.